to the Field Flight School for the F-18 Hornet. The goal of this course is to take you from zero experience all the way up to becoming a competent pilot in the field. Each lesson will build on what you learned in all previous lessons, so be sure to take your time and master the skills showcased during each flight, as it will generally be assumed that you know how to do those things on your own once a topic has been covered. Before we can do any of that, however, we need to get this Hornet relocated to Vatsiani, which is located near the ground attack training area we've set up for the course. The aircraft is on loan from the Stennis and they dropped it off here last night, so it's up to us to get it there. Unfortunately, Vatsiani has been closed to traffic for non-essential personnel until this evening. It would be a shame to waste a training day completely, so let's go over the cold start and shutdown procedures for the Hornet. Then you can practice on your own to get familiar with the procedure so we can get a quick start for our flight tomorrow. You should have gone through the official cold start procedure during your basic flight training, but that process is a bit long-winded for my taste. I'm going to show you a down and dirty quick start procedure to get us into the air as quickly as possible. To get started, look down at the panel to your right, check that both the generator switches are on, then switch the battery to on by right-clicking it once. It's going to get pretty loud once we start turning things on, complete. So let's go ahead. Once the canopy is fully seated, look to the left-hand panel by your leg and look for the APU switch near the throttle. The auxiliary power unit is a small onboard generator that helps spool up the engines to get them running. We can't really do anything with the engines until moving up to the front of the left panel. Verify that the anti-skid switch is set to on, and the carrier bypass switch is set to field. If the carrier bypass switch won't stay on field, ignore it for now. Just to the right of that, moving aft down the panel, set the lights master and position lights knobs to 100% by holding down the left mouse button over them and dragging. Set the right throttle to idle by pressing the appropriate keybind. Now set the right MDI. The lower middle display is called the just above and to the left of the find the bleed air switch on the right hand panel. This switch is separated into two parts, a push button on the top and a rotating switch on the bottom. Rotate the bottom switch clockwise with right clicks until it comes all the way back around to norm. Aft of the bleed air switch, find the INS switch and set it to GN. There's not much else we can do until the right engine is finished spooling up, so once the MDI screens are turned on, let's get them set up for takeoff. Now press the push button for CHKL. Now press the menu push and press the push button next to FCS. The AMPCD should have a countdown in the bottom third of the display as the navigation system. By this point, the right engine should be at about 60% RPM. Let's set the left throttle to idle by pressing the appropriate keybind, Alt plus Home. We need to clear out the flight control system of any errors to get a clean status update of the system. Near the throttle, find the FCS reset button and hold it down for at least 3 seconds. Just to the left of that, hold down the T/O trim button for at least 3 seconds. This will automatically configure the aircraft. Look back up at the MDI screens and take a look at the FCS page on the right-hand display. Verify takeoff. The FLIR is an onboard system that can be connected to an optional targeting pod. For night flights, you'll need to adjust cockpit lighting as desired. The Hornet has a physical countermeasure system in the form of chaff and flares that helps to avoid being hit by missiles, but we have to turn the system on before we can use them. At the very bottom of the center console behind the stick, find the dispenser switch. If the flight stick is in the way of your view, you can right-click the base to hide. In addition to perhaps the most important system. Now let's turn on our navigation. Using the numbered push buttons on the UFC, enter the TACAN code for Vatsiani, 22. Although we've entered the Instrument Landing System, or ILS, is a radio. Enter 11 using the number keys on the UFC, then press the ENT button. As As with the TACAN, the Hornet contains software that hold down the... Next up is the data link, and hold down... You would normally set up your radio frequencies at this point, but that is covered in the next lesson, so we'll skip that for now. Verify that the APU has turned off, then release the parking brake by left-clicking on it. And that's it. Though for this initial run-through of the startup procedure we still took quite a bit of time, as you memorize the process and get it down. You'll turn all the lights off by holding down the left mouse button on each one and dragging them down until they stop moving. Then set the parking brake by left-clicking on it and then pulling it back with the mouse wheel. Turn the OBOGs off by left-clicking it. Left-click the INS switch until it's set to off. Left-click turn the radios off by holding down the left mouse button on each one and pulling it down until the display below it turns off. Turn off the TACAN by pressing the TCN. Open up the canopy by either holding down the right-click button on the switch or pressing the appropriate keybind, Ctrl+C. Disengage the nose wheel steering, NWS, by using the appropriate keybind, then set the flap switch to full by left-clicking on it once. Turn off the left engine by using the appropriate keybind, Alt+N. Then turn off all displays by reversing the procedures we used to turn them on. Turn off the right engine by using the appropriate keybind, R-Shift+N. And that completes the shutdown procedure. We're done for now, but you're free to spend some time practicing the startup and shutdown procedures so you can get them down for a quick startup for our flight this evening. You can also access the practice session for this from the lessons menu. Report back here at 2000 so we can get over to Vatsiani by the time they reopen and get the aircraft put away for the night.